All right. Welcome to Unlicensed, where, you know, we don't have the credential, but we'll still talk. Right? We'll still find ways to talk about it. If Dr. Cheyenne Bryan can do it, so right? So we're here to usually talk about men's mental health and the things sort of afflicting us, but we also don't want to leave out other people. So topics can sometimes be a little bit broad, but I assure you there's always a focus, there's always an idea, there's always an underlying that we're trying to actually achieve. So today, very simple, right? Brittany Renner. We're going to use her as an example of what we've got to say. And shout out to you, first one in the chat. Hola. Hey, maybe one day we could do a stream in Spanish if my Spanish got that good. Besides that, though, we're going to go over Brittany Renner, and it's not just a cautionary tale, but what can we glean? What can we learn about people that live their life out loud and what that kind of means for the rest of us? One thing I want to focus when it comes to good old Brittany Renner. I want to say this first. I don't have anything against the woman. You know, in fact, I consider myself more of a fan of her, of being out there and being proud, or at least just being in front, living in front, living out loud. And I think we can all, especially as men, we can take away something from that. One of the things I constantly struggle with is there is almost like this, the term will come to me in a second. We struggle and we try to sit there and succeed, right? Often, and depending, and I don't know, this could be just because of the upbringing, but in America, it seems often that men, black men, we have this sort of issue, this thing on our shoulders where we're told to succeed, but not too much, to be proud, but don't be arrogant. It's a game of measures. It's a degree thing where you're supposed to do all these amazing, phenomenal things, but don't be arrogant about it. Don't be proud about it. Humble about it. Be quiet about it. Be successful, but be that in the corner. We know that that's not what this world sort of rewards. They like you for you to talk your shit. They like you to pop your collar. If you've worked and done, if you've done that work, hola, if you actually done that work, we want you to be proud of that. It's something I've struggled with, that I'll spend years working on things, constantly trying to become better, constantly trying to work on one thing or the other. And then when it comes time to live in that, I'm often very quiet, very, very laid back and said, no, let me not do this. Is it for fear of what others will see and how they will judge, how they look? Or is it simply I'm living in this shadow, my own shadow, for whatever reason? So I got to give props to people that live out loud, live out front. It's easy when, you know, you're beautiful, when you can monetize this, when you can simply do these things because people will pay attention and then they will give you access, or they will just shower you with money. It's a different game for women. That doesn't mean there's not lessons in here for men to learn, for us to pay attention. And one of these things that we're going to talk about today, what I want us to focus on, just one of those quick clips that I got to sort of highlight her, is what happens when you're out front. Our timeline is critical. And it doesn't really matter how much you defy it. Time is one of those things that you cannot beat. You can lament, you can cry, you can do whatever you want. You can dedicate your millions of dollars to living the healthiest lifestyle and having a true age score lower than what your body is. For those of you that are familiar, that millionaire that spent, you know, I think there's a documentary on Netflix about that. You can spend all that time. You can spend all that money deciding, perfecting, and preventing yourself from going wrong, going left. And then you still got some weird stomach disease where it's eating itself. It's eating. So it's difficult, right, to look and see that and think this is what's supposed to happen. You can do what you want, but when you live out front, you can't fight time. And Brittany Renner is giving us an example of what that actually looks like, right? I appreciate the jewels, right? You're like jewels, baby. It's an example of what happens when you're out. Time does what it does. It does not matter. And when you're front and center with it and you're loud and proud, this is the cautionary tale. I have no idea what you look like. I can't see from that small little icon. But what we end up seeing here is when you decide I want to live this way, and then you want to defy the heavens. And sometimes that heaven that we're talking about is time. This can easily be a conversation that we're having, but we swap out Brittany Renner for, say, Melissa Ford. Someone that's traded on a look, an image. And then later on, time comes and says, hold up. Hold up. You can't use that forever. We say the same things to us. We say the same things to women all the time. At some point in time, the looks will fade off. The other side of that coin is what we tell men is like, yo, it's going to be your turn. What we end up seeing is a lot of people online, a lot of women complaining that, listen, I'd rather live by myself than have someone like you who simply waited. For men, this is a takeaway. You cannot sit by and just wait and think the milk's going to spoil. I'm going to grab it right before it happens. No. You have a timeline as well. Whenever we talk about, well, men can do this up until this and this time. If you're not doing well, if you're not putting in the work and the effort, and you're not trying to put yourself ahead, it doesn't matter that you look, right, like Sean Connery at 45 years old, at 50 years old. That doesn't matter if you don't have anything to show for it. So on one hand, we look at women and say, when you're younger, you're gifted with this beauty, and then it's not fair. There's a lot of that goes around that we go and we do not talk about. It's unfair that you get to trade on your looks, trade on your body, and get access to places where it would take me damn near a lifetime to do, if that. I'll never own a yacht. I'll never own a private jet. I've come to that terms, a long time ago, and I still wrestle with it. Unfair. It's unfair. As if I have that pressing need to go somewhere at a moment's notice, or the fact that I can't swim is also a reason for me not to have a yacht. Besides that, if I don't do the work now, if I haven't been doing the work since for the last 15 years, being at this point in time, it would not matter. Women are not going to say, well, finally, I guess it's your turn. Behold, how lucky for you. That's not the case. When we hear the same conversation saying that, hey, you can be a man in your 40s and be attractive to a woman in 20s. Probably. You better have stuff. You better have the litany of success behind you that says, okay, this makes sense. Otherwise, that doesn't work. That's not how any of this actually works and how any of this actually happens. What you need to do, both timelines, you got to do the work. You can't escape that. And the more public you are, the easier it is for people to look and say, oh, that's what happened. We can look at it and see someone crashing out and it feels good, it sounds good. But at the end of the day, if you're not doing anything about it, if you're not improving your life, it really doesn't matter. Here we go. There we go. All right. So let me give that spiel again. If you are new here, and thank you guys in the chat for catching that. I built this one out a little late. If you are new here, like the stream, we do subscriber Sundays, Money Mondays, and of course Unlicensed on Thursdays when we can actually fit it in. We do that. Also, there's sometimes random lives where we're attempting to try something, link something. We're building while we fly. Again, if you're new here, subscribe to the channel. That's one of the greatest things you can do. Also, if you feel so moved, you can donate. There's super chats available. Okay, YouTube stuff out the way. So Brittany Renner. So if you don't know who she is, that's fine. But you know the archetype. You know the video vixen. You know the one that you looked, you were beautiful, you were early, you caught the attention of Um, yeah, the fancy graphics, the late. Oh, let me try this. Let me add this. Right, that is, it's killing it, but it's kind of fun. It's kind of the point. So, we know the archetype. We've seen them growing up, especially if you're my age. You can't ignore when you see these videos, right? Video music box, going back, going deep. Well, you saw the women highlighted there. You find out later on with social media, well, they have a voice and they're front and center. And for a time, she was absolutely everywhere, right? She was absolutely everywhere. And you look and say, wow, she's gorgeous. She traded on the look, right? She traded on the look. She leaned in harder than most people would think was probably appropriate, but she did it. She was with rappers, athletes, and then she wrote a book about it. I think it's called Judge This Apple. You can get it on Amazon. I don't have it. If it was a picture book, maybe, but it's not. So didn't bother taking a look. Point is, you leaned into this persona. You had viral moments, viral videos on Instagram where you crashing out talking to a camera. You had there was a rumor of this link up and this tease with Tiana Trump. And if you know Tiana Trump, you know Tiana Trump, right? Oh God! But you were in everyone's eye. You also were very open and vocal about it. There's videos, little collabs here and there, paid advertisements. You paid to be in a club. You lived that life. Then there's famous people she was with, and then she was also famously went to I forgot the college, but on the behest of Deion Sanders, Coach Prime, to tell these young boys the dangers of someone like her. And she did it, absolutely willingly. And I used to call her the ultimate predator because it didn't really matter. You saw her coming. You see the lionesses in the wild. It doesn't matter. You see it. You're going to be a victim. You're going to be a victim. You don't really have enough tools, especially at you're 18, 19, 20 years old. You'd have enough tools to say, this is bad for me. This is bad for me. So you can play, you can grab. She grabbed PJ Washington and he had, an exorbitant contract. Their marriage was short-lived, have a kid. And then the whole thing when that went, forgive the phrase, tits up. Then Kevin Gates, where she converted to Islam for him and was married for 52 days. And then ditched the hijab once again, came back out to the wild, highlighted that, then got with this producer DJ out in California. And then she was Christian again, and they were seen praying together over. Then she says most recently that she's out. She's going back to Mississippi where she needs help with her family. So in that process, what she's also doing, she's streaming on Kick, and a lot of these things become sort of crash outs. When you're just looking at her talk, you're looking at her speak, and then DJ Academics, who they had some dealings with before, not dealings with, but you're on the podcast, they created some content together. He, like a broken clock, finds himself right about some of the things that are happening. And it's a very weird day when we actually agree with DJ Academics. But we'll have to for now. But let's take a look.
And also to my baby daddy, PJ, I know you're going to watch this because I know your dream is to stream. You wish you could stream instead of having to go to, never mind, practice. But stop fucking playing with me and stop fucking playing with our son. On everything I love, babe, Fed's building a case. Okay? And you keep playing. Okay, that's why you're going to get traded. That's why no good is going to come to you. And you keep talking about the Lord and you want to carry that Bible around as a prop. Boy, if you don't stop.
So easily you see this, right? You call that a prop, but when we look at you converting things that people tend to hold sacred, their religion, it seemed like you wore it like a wig just for the time being and moved and pretended to be that because you kind of just switched when it was convenient.
What did the Bible say about them children? Because you're okay with doing what you're doing to our son, and you got your other fucking kids living a certain kind of way, and you think that, and people think that shit's funny. You think that nigga got over? You think that shit's cool? That's fucking deadbeat behavior.
what essentially happened to her, time. Time. It's she's 34 years old now. And when you trade on your looks, right? Yeah. Yeah. When you trade on your looks, eventually those things, when you trade on a diminishing return, that's supposed to happen. When this becomes the thing that you're known and loved and feared for, we care as long as you still can put up those numbers. The minute that becomes less than, the minute that starts to fade, we don't care. Right? Yeah. Right. From the problem is we were so used to the Brittany Renner, right? The appeal, the oh my God, right? Oh my God, that's not fair. To now, well, time is doing what it's doing. When we try to talk about these things, and sometimes it's difficult when you don't have the visual, when you don't have it. Right. She got her teeth though, so she'll be all right. So when we tell people you you can do that, right? When like we talk to OnlyFans models, say, yeah, you can do that, but there are prices to be paid for that. We often think the price is down the road, or when the bill comes due, we won't mind. We'll be in a better position. But what we see happening here is fumble after fumble. Like you got with PJ Washington, that was a bag until it wasn't. Until you thought you were supposed to be getting. I think after he signed the contract, that's when the split started. The rumors of the split started happening, and it was an obscene bag, right? It was obscene bag, 20 million, something ridiculous. PJ Washington, ridiculous. But that's when the split's supposed to occur. That's the formula. That's the strategy. And then you end up, I think she's getting like $5,000 a month instead. Then they had the whole crash out when her mom was in the house and PJ came to get the kid. And then just seeing how tense that was, how awful that was. And now we're thinking in our heads, is this what having access to all these famous people, for having a following yourself, it gives you the same type of outcomes that everyone else has. Yeah, the vibration is all in the wrong place. She's getting the same type of outcomes you're getting from someone around the way. How many times have we seen videos of people simply exchanging their kid and it being tense? Now you have your mom in the house with you, and you see your mom's language. Oh, I see where you kind of get this from, right? It's sort of an all in the family thing.
You're a fucking deadbeat, and I'm always gonna have my issue is always gonna fucking be with you. Now, if you let people get in my mix, well, okay, well, shit, let's all settle up then. Cause you be letting that shit. The reason that you're even still married to that bitch is because y'all keep trying to prove a point to me. Ooh, that's what it is. Because she's also the same bitch that invited me and Paul to Thanksgiving back in, what was it, 2024, said that she went through his phone multiple times and couldn't find anything. How did you catch him cheating? But did that make a video? Did y'all know that? No.
What's going on, Dante? I was glad to see when you pop up. So again, in your mind, you're thinking 34, and we simultaneously sometimes think 34 is young, and then we think 34, you should be mature. You should understand that crashing out in your car isn't really the thing to do. All this is recorded. All this is recorded. You're too famous on the internet to have this not be recorded, spliced, clipped, saved. This isn't something you would think and say, all right, you're 34. Okay, you're a mom, right? You're a mom. But this is what happens when you're living out loud, when you're living out front, and you trade on the looks. What we often caution people is when this is your dominant thing, something that, outside of you being in the gym and winning the genetic lottery, you have not earned. If you don't continually pay the bill for this, then eventually when we get to know your personality, we say, oh, very pretty face, very reportedly very cool in person, right? From other podcasts that she did, very cool person. But your persona online starts mattering. A lot of men, especially when you get into these spaces, they don't want women that are loud, and I don't mean loud just like by your voice. I'm talking about the persona, the personality. We had that other video that we looked at on, I think it was Subscriber Sunday, where a guy realized his date had a large social media presence. He said, hey, More power to you. Great to see what you're doing. I'm sure you're going to find someone that you need, but that's not my bag. A lot of men, this isn't their bag. What ends up happening, we end up in this place where we start reconciling the difference between how attractive you are with how much of a headache being with you is going to be. And that tipping point suddenly happens. You go from being overly attractive, the apple, it does not matter. You told me you slept with this, and men are still like, yeah, I don't. Men are worth it. So I just want my turn. I want to see what it's like. But that focus is narrow and fixed. It's an age, it's a look, and men stay there. Their attention stays right there. You move along the x-axis and you simply age out of it. Then the attention's gone. Then we're looking and saying, okay, watch this sort of downfall. Same thing, you look at Melissa Ford. Some of the stuff she's saying, now that the rhetoric becomes very much the same. Well, I never needed a man. While interspersing talking about the men that you're dating and how you wish this would go this way. We've seen it all the time. We get to a point, I was just working on another video today. We get to a point where it's time, it's a harvest, where we get to look at the seeds that you've planted. We get to see whether or not you actually planted anything. We get to see whether or not those things are ripe. We get to see if those things never had a chance, if they were eaten by rodents, if you never really tended your garden. We get to see the results of all that, those years of work. Time is the factor that pushes it all forward. And if you haven't done a thing, then we just watch your downfall. We just watch and say, oh, okay, wow. We still here for the entertainment value, but in terms of looking and saying, hey, this is something I would love to settle down with, someone I would love to, if I could just wrangle this, if I just get in front. No.
Girl, huh? We got to be honest now. You done try to catch the nigga, and let me tell you something. In my video where I said 5 ways you probably he's cheating on you, one of those is you feel need to go through his phone. So you're just going to stay with him because you have no self-respect, and you're not going to get better than PJ. The difference between me and you is I can. You know nothing about. And you guys are talking about, well, I understand why PJ doesn't, because I saw the video of you going up. That video was like from 2023.
Man, I appreciate that. So it's just from her taking no accountability. Exactly so. EGG, exactly so. When you don't take that accountability, and we said this several times, look at the music back. When you don't take accountability, what ends up happening is this magical thing. You remove all the obstacles from your path. You got a smooth path forward. You got a smooth path, and it creates a smooth brain. I can't deal with any type of, hey, you know what? That probably wasn't the right thing for you to do. Hey, you know what? You did actually do wrong right here. You're constantly, and this is what we hate about some things about our community. When you make yourself constantly the victim is always innocent. So the victim doesn't have to do anything to change. It's your fault. He did it. The perpetrator did it. There was a conversation that is starting where we're saying, where one woman was saying, women shouldn't have to curtail the way they dress outside. If their cheeks are out, that should be fine. The problem is the predator. You need to fix the predator. And the other host, he was like, no. You think you can police a predator? It's the same thing when you have strict gun laws in a city. Criminals don't care about this, right? Gun-free zone. And he's just like, oh, let me leave this out here. No, not by the park. No, you can't use guns in these places. No, they don't care. They're still going to move how they're going to move. At some point in time, when we've removed all obstacles from your life, from your path, we remove the chance for you to get better. This is a real part of the conversation, right? This is a real uncomfortable part of the conversation. When we look at sometimes the lives of men and women, and sometimes why it seems like something, we're talking about the ones we highlight. We're not talking about you guys here in the chat. You guys are awesome. You've removed consequence and accountability. So when you're talking or screaming or making a point, you sound like you're 14. And I know I'm not the only one. I'm exposed to it because I've got to churn out the content. You sound like you're 14. You reason like you're 14. At the end of the day, it's simply because you feel this way, and that becomes enough of a reason for us to say, oh yeah, that makes sense. You don't care about stats. You don't care about what it looks like. You simply say, to my friends, it happened to them, so therefore this must be Newton's fourth law. That's it. It's because you never came up across a time when someone says, hey, you know what? That's wrong. We created softer individuals. We started giving out participation. Hey, just show up. Just show up, and that's all you did. Here's a ribbon. First place guy, he'd been training all his life. He or she had been training all his life. Just running, going around that track. Their little 5-year-old feet, running. Serious to them, but you get a reward because you showed up. You can't. When we eliminate the friction, you get smooth brain, right? We get a very smooth brain. I've eliminated consequence for you, and then we do this for pretty people. This is part of pretty privilege. I've eliminated the road. I've eliminated consequences. No friction, no coefficient of friction. Everything happened in a vacuum. It is smooth. First of all, you know this, right? Listen, before stream, I make sure wash the face, hit it with the beard oil. I ain't just making sure. And I got the shape. I got the haircut today. But tonight, yeah, you're right. Right, but it's my brother, so you know. Listen, if you're looking for consultation on peptides, or you're looking for consultation on get your life right, you need to hit my brother. Right? You can't be poor though. Don't be poor. My brother, I was thinking about featuring another one of his segments. There's definitely a need for that. If he's willing, and we could talk about this offline, we could do a collab. But you know, this way people will stop mistaking when they see me and they see my content online and coming to you about it. Yeah, the views expressed by this creator do not reflect his family. That being said, when we eliminate friction, your life gets very, 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 very simple, very easy. And obstacles, I don't think is just a male thing. I think it's a human thing. Iron sharpens iron. It doesn't really care if it's a woman holding it or it's a man holding it. You've gotten where you are today because of the things and struggles you've overcome. If you always made right turns, you never would have survived being lost. All the times in your life you've been lost, you found a way. Look at you right here. You made it happen. These things build character, they build strength, they build resilience. But I eliminate all that. So now when your life finally starts going wrong, what happens? You crash out. Now you're on here screaming about your baby mama and your baby daddy.
Did you guys also see the other times when PJ brought Elisa to my fucking house on multiple occasions, trying to incite violence? Huh? No, you didn't. That wasn't recorded. Were you guys there when he said, I'm gonna make you look like an unfit mother, no matter what it takes? So I'm going up against someone with endless resources that's threatening to take my child and make me look like I'm unfit, and then bringing his bitch that he's fucking with to my house to try to fight me.
I wanna also add something that I did not include, right? I did not include. Part of this segment that she did, she was highlighting, you know, her ass and did a quick twerk outside the vehicle because she said, this is why you guys are mad. Right? It's almost like you don't have this, you know, the stream of consciousness where you can think and say, the things that I'm using to sort of sell myself, sell my point of view, it's still the same things I was using in my 20s. There is this magical thing that's supposed to happen as you get older. Going to shoot right now. Yeah. About to get full custody of your. Oh, congratulations, man. That's a lot. That's a lot of work. That's a lot of work. You know how often the courts do not look at a man favorably for that. She's got to be a real piece of work for that to happen. Light skin crash out is always rough, especially when we've seen you. And I dare say, right, and this may be being a fan, I think Brittany Renner was all time at the top. At the top, it was like she couldn't do any wrong, but she couldn't do any right. Making a book where you lightly refer to the people that you've actually slept with. We all understand how often, how wild stuff like this is happening in real life. The Dubai porta potty trips, all this is an open secret. The Diddy parties, who was there, open secret. open secret, but it was kept on a hush because people they always value that anonymity. When there's no consequences, like you say on the internet, when people can just do what they want to do, that's when you end up seeing who they truly are. One woman, I saw this on Threads. I want to say it was an article. Right? She said, did some sort of like one of those living exhibits. For 6 hours, she didn't move. She let everyone do whatever they wanted to her. 6 hours. And at the end of 6 hours, she started moving and people started to feel shame for what they put her through, what things they did to her. Just to highlight, listen, people can be absolutely terrible people. She thinks that she can leave Massachusetts, go live in Connecticut, leave with her grandma, and not lose. I don't work that way. No, it don't work that way. It does not work that way. These are the things that don't often get highlighted. And listen, shout out to you. You know, making that right? Stability. Can I ask what's in Connecticut? Like who? Who's in Connecticut? And if you feel free, you know, if you feel so comfortable, you can let us know. So yeah, we'll continue with a little bit of the crash out.
And let me tell you something, bitch, you don't want it with me either, because you know I'll line that shit up any fucking day with you. That's nothing, huh? Like, did you forget that PJ pulled my mom off of you? Okay. Huh? You don't want that shit with me, babe. I done offered it to you.
Her job moved her to Connecticut. Well, you know, that has to be a whole conversation. That has to be a whole conversation. You're just going to say, hey, mom, watch my kid. I'm going to go to work. Nah.
I offered that to you. You were out of breath because you're out of shape. You had your back against the fucking car door, and I said, what's up? What are we doing? I'm not about to just hit you. That's not really my style. I'm not a bully. You're going to have to line it up. Let's do it proper, you know? So it's like, that's why even when her and I were going back and forth, she's talking about saying, you got my number. Bitch, fuck, you got my address. And y'all sent the nanny to come get my son just when y'all went to come and get him. Because y'all don't really want them problems. Stay in Frisco and stay safe.
Yeah, that's exactly what happens. You get a whole new job and say, oh, it's out of town? Oh, I can't do that. My kid here. And the father, even though I hate him, this is where it is. Yeah, she said, yo. But she said, I'm honorable. Come through. Go to hands. I pressed you and I saw you weren't ready. I'm not just going to wail off on you. Right? Fat, you out of shape. Right? Okay. How would you feel? Let me ask that. How would you feel? Legitimately. How would you feel if you saw a video of your mom acting like this? Right? And not in the in 10, 20 years. No, like 8 years, 5 years. When their son gets, what do you think? And outside of that, being the son of Brittany Renner, being the son of an OnlyFans model, we're getting to that point in time where it gets real. The consequences are very real. On the probate, so that's going to be served, and her mother will say she lives in Connecticut. Oh damn, got her. Yeah, Brittany Renner, she looks like you fit. Nah, I'll give you that. No, she looks like she's scrapped, and she's got the crazy eyes. But you know what would that serve? Because I'm not fighting you, Brittany Renner. I'm calling the cops. I'm assuming she's trying to do the same thing, have this person hit her so she can call the cops. So in turn, she can put more pressure on PJ and that. Look at that entire family, look at the entire situation. I should have more custody. This is nowhere near what you want to see. What you want to see your parents going through. Yeah. Listen, if you can record that, you know, I'll give you the mic and you can have the floor. We'd love to see that. We like to see people that actually give a damn, actually winning. Hey, give a damn about their kids, because it's so easy for now always to be like, oh, the man didn't care. He didn't. I was saying it's just earlier. Why do you got to fight? Why does it have to be a fight when it comes to kids? Yeah, the son is going to see this, and you know, classmates, you know, kids are worst, right? Kids are absolutely the worst. Terrible. That's a good question. Why wouldn't she just tell you? Well, you know, I guess that depends on the level of your conversations. Like if you guys aren't really talking, then it really doesn't make sense for her to engage with you like that. Yeah. So yeah, Brittany Renner, she wants to throw a couple fades.
This is listen, babe. This is not a crash out, babe. What you're hearing is passion. What you're hearing is conviction. Okay? So I use my voice for the forces of good, and I'm always gonna stand up for myself as I am other women.
Right. That's exactly what it looks like. Again, this is not the position you want to, find yourself in, where it doesn't seem to matter what choices you had. The world was your oyster. There was really no other person out there that people who were not on the lips of. People wanted you. This time that you have to be that, it fades very quickly. Time is paradoxical. It's slow and then it's very fast. We have so much time yet so little at the very same time. So you find yourself in this place where if it's going to take you time to get good, to get better, right? Why not start today? Why not lay those pieces and then you can get to the spot. You can get to the spot like my brother's in right now. He's starting to see the real payoff, the dividends for putting in that work, for being groggy, being sleepy, being tired, being exhausted, and still pushing and still working and still moving. This is what you end up getting, right? Let's go back to our little. Yeah, listen, man. If we want to derail this thing, we can talk about it all the time, right? We can talk about it all the time. Even if you want to come up, right? And we do like little call-in show. We could do that. We make that happen. Just say the word. Then we'll try to build it at the same time, but I think we can make that happen. We got the framework for it. If you want to talk it out, I think your situation is a lot more important than Brittany Renner. So, but we'll continue for now. You just let me know. Okay. So, like I said before, DJ Academics was really talking about it. All right, man. Yeah, power plant. Look at you getting it in. I appreciate that. Right. We can set this up at a later time, or we can just set up a call ourselves. It doesn't have to be live. It doesn't be like that. But sometimes it helps, right? Sometimes it helps just having the talk. This is what Unlicensed is for, right? So we can talk about these issues. And thank you for watching me while you're at work, Blair's. If you're at work today, right now, thank you for that. So we were talking about, DJ Academics, and I'm not a fan of him. I'm not a fan of, maybe it's jealousy. He gets the gossip and gets paid for it. Maybe it's that. It might be a bit of that.
Hey, Brittany, when you were like 26, you thought you was bigger than the program, shorty. Like, there was a time online, you're the baddest bitch. Like, you were Ruby Rose before Ruby Rose, my nigga. Where every nigga with a dick that was popular wanted a piece of you. Of course, when you, like, low-key at that point, you had so much the pick of the litter. When you got with PJ Washington, niggas was looking at like, damn, he's lucky. Cause
again, we don't look at it that we're at this weird point in our life where DJ Academics is right. When it was PJ Washington, we understood why. We understood, said, yeah, that makes sense. Given that level of fine, it makes sense that this would be the one. We looked and said, PJ, don't do this. Right? People said, PJ, don't do this. This is going to not work out well for you, but PJ, don't do this.
You were the baddest bitch everybody wanted. But Father Time is undefeated. You got a kid by him. You now 34. You not 26. Like, niggas want to fuck you. Do niggas want to build with you? Do everybody want to pop out with you? Do they want to be on your program? Nah, that's facts. They want to be like, come on now. We got to keep it a bean. The nigga wasn't getting down with your program. At that time, you said you knew you was that hot. You're like, fuck it. Fuck this nigga. Yo, I could get another athlete that's 100 million up. What the fuck? I'm not sitting here and this nigga's lying to me about fucking other bitches. Here's the thing. That's why I keep trying to tell everybody. Nigga, everybody's lying about fucking other bitches. Like, bro, like, why you think you special? So you thought you was the hottest shit then. You wasn't taking a shit. You said, I bet I'm gonna find a nigga who's going whatever. Nigga, 8 years later, there's another 22, 23-year-old chick. Nigga, Kevin Gates found a 26-year-old chick. And he was just like, I'm good. This is me right here.
Unfortunately, DJ Academics is right? Like, it feels icky, feels awful. Yeah. Fatty, yeah. Yeah, you can't be person like a 65. This is when you trade on the looks. Remember, men are going to have a fixed point in time where they're enjoying you and like that. Those men at that level, the ones that have options, their options are always going to look a certain way and be of a certain age. So when you're out there thinking that, no, it'd just be just as easy. It's just an easy move to transition from one to one to one. Over time, when men are saying, yeah, you had a kid, that kind of takes some marks away. In terms of dating, not in terms of your intrinsic value, I still think Brittany Renner is a valuable human, just like everyone else. But when you trade this way, when you make books about it, when you sit there and you tell men, you're going to switch religions, we see it all and it's highlighted in our face, and we say, wow, I'm rooting for you. When you had the hijab on, I was like, oh, this is more demure, this kind of, and then we started seeing the videos in the cars and it's like, oh, you make a mockery of the religion. There's a pipeline that goes from when you started as a baddie, as an Instagram baddie, as just trading on the looks. Maybe you go into OF. Maybe you're out here sleeping with rappers. You're going over time. We know where you end up. You end up back in church. Church is supposed to have that way of cleansing who you are, cleansing your reputation. I did all the things, but now I'm in church. Thing is that for the men that you're still pining for, you're still aiming for those type of men, because Gerald is in the DMs. Gerald is in the DMs. Gerald doesn't care your situation. He doesn't care about any of that. Gerald wants a shot. Gerald is 45, balding, right? Makes 30 grand a year, but he wants a shot. But Gerald will treat you right to the best of his ability. That's what he would do. But when you still trade with those, you're trying to force your way back into the club when they let you out the back. If it's slow, if you still got a buzz, you still got popularity, you still have a figure, you still have a look, they'll entertain you. But the optionality of where this can end has started to dwindle, has started to disappear. You know, that's the reality of it. Let's take a pause on that. Went to the fertility clinic. She was shocked to find out when we did the DNA being Jewish. It's not shit, not a religion. It's like, okay. Women exercising options when they just dump on the first Brittany Renner. Yeah. This is the cold part of the game, right? This is the cold part of the game. Yeah. Yeah. Gerald's ready to do it all. He's ready to do it all. Right? So when we look at this, we end up in this position where the men that she's that caliber, right? Because she's not talking about Gerald, she's not talking about Easy. Right? She's talking about these people with the contracts, with the deals, the known knowns, the people with real money, real swagger, real movers and shakers. Not me, right? Not me. I do well by low people standards. Like if we're looking at this, right? I'd say I'm definitely on X-Men blue team. I'm on blue team. But Galactus is coming. I really can't help you. Right? I really can't help you. Right? With Adamantium Claw's not going to do much against Galactus. Cosmic Power. Silver Surfer, I can't even get close to him. Can't even get close to him. Right? I'm good for this street level. Better than that. More akin. I'm Daredevil. Okay? As long as the stuff is kept on the streets in Brooklyn, in Manhattan, right? As long as I just gotta hit people with sticks, great. Apocalypse showed up. What are you looking at me for? How am I supposed to help? Brittany Renner is looking at apocalypse level threats. That's not us. Right? We don't qualify for it. The problem is she doesn't realize she's aging out of that game. You're getting now here where it's like, yeah, it's Gerald and me lined up saying, a few years, you'll push through. A few years, I see you at the club, and it's dead. Even though they knew you were coming, you weren't the attraction anymore. You weren't the thing anymore. But the takeaway, the thing that we have to remember, the thing that for men that becomes critically important is if you do not make it, excuse me, if you do not make it to that position, to the PJs, right, to the J. Coles, to these people to the Drakes, to So anyone here that has actual that motion, that status, this thing that takes you time, because you'll never be that. Probably not going to be Drake. But for you and your generation and people that look like you, your family, you can do better, right? Yeah. Hell's Kitchen, baby. If you put in the work and you do actually manifest that, not manifest like you just kind of use crystals and stuff, but no low vibrational crystals, you actually put in the work, you get to the point where you have the optionality. It may not be a Brittany Renner. It may not be a Brittany Renner, but you'll start to see people that come out of the woodwork just to check on you. The hey, big head. Hey, what you doing? I've been thinking about you. I had a dream about you. But it all requires the work. It all requires the work. If you do not do that, then you're Gerald. Then you're me in the DM saying, Brittany, just give me a shot. She's not there yet, right? She's probably got 10 more years before Gerald and I have a shot. But for all of us not looking at the limelight, not looking at these pseudo celebrities, the reality for a lot of us is you have to, especially as a man. And we want to make sure we have this correct takeaway for men. You have to work. You have to put in effort. You should not be the same you were last year. You should look at things that went right, look at things that went wrong, and look at them both equally and say, these are both evidence of where I need to improve. How I improved, what I need to improve. Every time, think about it like this. Every time you have an opportunity to run into someone from back in the day, you want them to be looking at you like, hey, I see you in the gym. I see you smelling good. Hair's done, hair's cut, beard oiled. Damn. I just came out here for some cigarettes and I look like it. That's how I want to run into people from years ago. That's how you want to be ready for an impromptu high school reunion, college reunion at any time. Where people say, damn, you didn't slack off. It especially gets very rewarding when people look at you and they judge you and they say, oh, you're black, you're black. And then sometimes this happened with coworkers when I changed offices. They'll come and say, oh, you're this. And then someone else gets to tell them, nah, man. Like Iverson, that man's the truth. That man's he's just unbothered because he doesn't need this job. He is better than you. In action, in deed, in effort. We talked about last time, there being a certain amount of time, right? You got to say like fine wine. Fine wine to still get you drunk. Once you've been doing this work for time, right? Because time is that factor that becomes insurmountable. You've been working at this for 10 years. There's nothing you can do. We just met. You haven't been doing the same type of work. You haven't put in that same type of effort. There's a pool party on Tuesday. Be there. You suddenly can't get abs. You suddenly just can't do that. We understand. Even if you went and saw Dr. Miami, you wouldn't be recovered enough in time to actually show it out. If you're not doing the work, man, this is focus. If you're not doing the work, it does not matter when the opportunity arrives. If our man here, right? If Jimmy did not have a house, did not have the job, was not actually set up, it would not matter. You got to find out, shorty's trying to do you dirty. You don't have the resources. You're living in your car. It won't matter what she's doing. She's in Connecticut, kids out of their grandma. They say you can't even help, can't even do anything. Custody, you crazy. Have to always, and unfortunately for men, you always have to be ready. You got to get ready so you don't, that's it. You have to be ready. You have to be ready to go, right? There's always an impromptu reunion, always an impromptu reunion. People you run into like, oh my God, I haven't seen you since blah, blah, blah. And they don't say it, but they have that look like, damn. And it's always more in reflection where they are. I haven't done. Here's a you must live in the gym. No, I'm regimented. Watch what I eat. I make sure I hit the gym, but not something special. Not something special. I'm not incredible like this. Okay? Brittany was never fine wine. I see struggling to be spoiled up. You lying. You lying. You lie like a rug. Brittany was fine. Fine. Maybe there were some filters and such. Brittany was fine. I'll give it that. Keep working hard. Hey, yeah, catch that. Brittany Renner. Let's leave out Jasmine Cashmere, right? Yeah, right. Let's leave out Jasmine Cashmere. Critical, when I was of said age. Critical when I was of wait. Yeah. Stay looking like, that for me? So listen, it becomes very, very simple for men. The takeaway here is, while we're watching the visual crash out, and just because it's Brittany Renner and her sort of style, you're very evocative, right? She's fine putting herself out there, especially when you're streaming on Kick. A lot of that ends up being just kind of word of mouth, stream of conscious. You have to get up there and talk, and some of the things you end up revealing, well, some of the easiest things to talk about are things that you've been through, your story, your experience. You put it out there, and people are looking, not because they're really curious or they care. They want to see that karma exists. I don't think it does, right? Yeah. Your attention's going. Brittany wants to. Thank you. Thank you. Stop. We can appreciate a thing and say it's also bad for you, right? It's also bad for you. French fries, like fried in beef tallow, taste delicious. Bad for you. I can be real. Fine is fine. Fine is fine. Fine is fine. Yeah. When I keep seeing those photos on Zach, I was like, Jesus. But speaking of Jesus, it's part of the doctrine, part of the gospel. I just couldn't take you seriously every Sunday. Looking and just you're looking down at the drawers are getting tight. I'm like, it's an old habit, right? Much respect. It's just old. I'll probably change it, right? But yeah, this is the reality of it. Brittany Renner was fine. You don't do any work as a man. No one really cares about your situation. When we look and say, and part of one of the tenets that you hear often in the manosphere and the red pill is that, yeah, she's going to lose her looks. Cool. You have to gain something. The beautiful thing about being a man is that you have the opportunity to level up. It's your own personal RPG game. You could take the side quest. You could sit here and continue to grind in a certain area, learn as many lessons from a fraught situation like this thing you're going through with childcare. You can sit there and cut your teeth against it until you say, I've learned everything I need to learn from this. It's going to help me become better. It's going to help me move on. So now when she rears her head, she comes around and she tries to affect you, and you're just like, I've dealt with all this. There's nothing left here for you to move. There's nothing left here for you to make me feel bad about. I know who I am. I know the situation, and I'm here trying to do the best thing for my daughter. If you're not on board with that, I can't engage with you when where you just want to make someone angry. Stuff like that takes time. I know sometimes we talk about this change, we talk about this growth, and it's like it's instantaneous. No, it takes time. It takes effort. It takes heartbreak. It takes being willing to have your heart broken again and again and again and again. But you get there. And when you arrive there, you'll find who you were 5 years ago, you don't recognize. You're happy for that person setting on that trail. You're happy for the existence. You're happy for the pain. You're happy for the obstacles that were in your path. And then you say, I wonder who I'll be in another 5 years. For men who strictly, I'm not saying this is only for men, it happens to women as well, but for men who very early on say, congratulations, you're useless. You are absolutely useless, not functional to me as a society, to us as a society. Prove your worth. This is playing, Mortal Kombat, in the early games. Test your might. You've got to go out there, build something. You got to put in the effort. And then we look and say, not bad. You're 22? You got potential, not bad. And then we sit there and we wait. Then you're 32, we say, damn, this is significant. That's when the attention starts railing around. Only because you did the work. As I said time and time again, my father was absolutely right. Absolutely right. 16 years old. Don't focus on the women. Focus on your schoolwork. It's going to be Brittany Renners. There's going to be tons of Brittany. But that action, that purview, none of that falls your way. If your goal is to get a Brittany Renner in the prime, you got to be something. And not Brittany Renner, but a woman of actual quality. She's not going to be like Brittany trying to play the game with you, but she's still going to need you to do something, have something under your belt, some type of success, some type of passion, some type of drive, some type of ambition. It's never been easier for you to be special. It's never been easier for you to show up to the, Xavier Institute for Gifted Students, for Gifted Mutants, and say, hey, I want to apply. Avengers is down that way. Say, nah. I'm gifted. You're not. You think you are because society made you feel that. The only mutant power you have is you wear hats really well. That doesn't qualify? No. Once you get out of this lane, when you leave the covering of your own house, of your own sort of life, and you get out there to reality, and focus on men, life will tell you exactly where you are. Life waits to tell women to tell them their worth, especially when they're trying to say, I'm trying to lead this way. Life tells you who you are. It tells you who you are in the disappearance of the tension, disappearance of what you don't consider maybe chivalry, maybe giving you the benefit of the doubt. Now they look at you and say, yeah, I'm not hiding that. I'm just lustful. I don't really care what you have to say. It's unfortunate, but it should be a telltale case to say, okay, still beautiful enough to trade on your looks. Now's the time to revamp what you're trying to do. It's going to take something that looks authentic, something that looks real, not something that just looks like, okay, what's the next grip? Did Islam, did Christianity, now we're doing Mississippi. How many people do you know shuttled off down to Atlanta for a fresh start, pretending like they're someone new? Now I'm going to get it done in Atlanta. And because you were the same person, wherever you went, there you found yourself. Still struggling, still with the issues. The problem is still always external. Back to our boy. No matter what I go through, whenever talk bad about him, listen, this is quality, right? This is quality. And the only place you're really going to get rewarded for it is probably here. We're proud of you for doing that, for keeping that sort of modicum of respect. Doesn't matter that I don't like you, that I may be borderline hate you. I know what it takes away from me to do that. I'm not going to cheapen myself, my outcomes, my resolve, my spirit, because it's kind of what you want. It's kind of what you want. Right now, you're going to find yourself, Jimmy, in the place where she wants you to be emotionally affectable. I want to be able to reach out, touch him, ruin his day. It seems backwards, but that still means we have a connection. If I hate you, there's still a very strong connection. Look at Anakin, right? There's still a very strong connection. You're moving on to indifference when there's nothing. Right? You're just an isolated island of peace. It was like, I wish you the best or not. That's where you want to find yourself. It sounds like you're right on that one. But besides that, listen, guys, there's I wanted to keep you right around an hour. So thank you guys for showing up for another episode of Unlicensed. Shout out to you guys. Hopefully I see a bunch of you here for Subscriber Sundays. Yeah. It was Buddha. That's how you gotta be. You gotta be cold with it, right? You gotta be cold with it. But yeah, hopefully we see some of you guys for Subscriber Sunday. We always have a good time. I'm ready putting together that show. So it should be a good one. We're going to have fun as usual. Laugh, laugh, laugh. Be grossed out. Be often grossed out. But then, yeah, we'll have fun. That's the whole point of this. If you guys do catch us, for those who are in the replay game, hope you enjoyed the show. Subscribe to the channel. Doing all the YouTube things right now. Yeah. Indifference, Indifference is your strongest weapon. Men, indifference is your strongest weapon. The ability, I've got merch that I just created where it says there's power in presence, right? There's power in presence. When you say, this doesn't serve me, but I don't got to dig. I don't got to make you feel, I just remove my presence. That's it. That's the most important thing you as a man have. You're stronger, you're faster, you can hit harder, you can do all this damage. You can probably find the words to cut her down. You can do all that. None of that matters. Yeah, definitely don't physically attack her. Just leave. No notes, no questions, no how could you, I did, no crash out. You're just gone. We both know what happened here. I don't need to sit down and argue. One of the things that we lose, or we do all the time from men, we want hard evidence. We want video evidence. We want your feelings were hurt. You addressed it. You said, this is not cool. You disrespected me. Now you want evidence. I said my piece. I said my piece. I'm not going to follow you. I can't get in front of your emotions. I can't convince you. When's the last time you convinced someone they were wrong? Hey, you were wrong about this. You should change. No. I say, cool, got it. I know when my presence is not required, is not valued, I see myself out. You could be emotionally affectable too. Go cry in a car. Get to your destination, bawl in a car. That's it. He doesn't get that. That's a valuable piece of you. You don't give that away cheaply. That's all it comes down to. Yeah, indifferent, just act like a typical Capricorn. On that note, on a Capricorn slander, I'll see you guys in the next one.